Hey everyone, it's Tzayla, and welcome to Off Key and On Pitch, your backstage pass into the unfiltered world of music. Whether you're a music lover, a fellow creative, or are simply curious what happens behind the scenes, you're in the right place. Today we are talking to Dani Felt. Philadelphia born and Los Angeles based, indie pop artist Dani Felt crafts bold, dark pop anthems that delve deep into self expression, empowerment, and raw emotion. With her theatrical roots and a love for cinematic storytelling, Dani creates a sound that seamlessly blends vulnerability with strength, drawing listeners into a world of relatable and transformative experiences. Her artist name is not a pseudonym, it's in fact her real name, and it's a testament to the authenticity she brings to her music and her mission. Inspired by powerful artists like Imagine Dragons, Adele, Billie Eilish, Lorde, and Lana Del Rey, Dani channels their emotional depth and darkly cinematic vibes into her own unique sound. The influence of musical theater is woven through her work, adding a dramatic flair that elevates her songwriting. From the vibrant streets of New York City to the creative pulse of Nashville and now to the sun-drenched hills of Los Angeles, Dani's journey has shaped her voice, each city leaving a mark on her artistic evolution. Dani's inspiration comes not only from the artists she admires, but also from her own personal journey. A pivotal moment of which was the release of her single, Queen, which was featured in the documentary Influencer film, where she explores the themes of self-love and resilience. Now with her newest single, Superhero, which was co-written with Xander Stopp and produced by a powerhouse team including Jason Threm and John X, Dani takes her mission further. This track is an anthem of resilience and finding strength within, resonating with anyone navigating life's challenges. For Dani, music is more than sound. It's a tool for healing, empowerment, and connection. Her songs are a movement, urging listeners to embrace their authentic selves and transform their personal stories into strength. Through her evocative lyrics and dynamic melodies, Dani Felt invites you to step into her world and find your hero within. With that, let's get into the conversation with Dani Felt. Hi, Dani. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm pumped to be here.
Yeah. So I cannot wait to dive into your new song, Superhero. Like I said, I listened to it, absolutely loved it, and I want to get on that. But before we get there, I love the story of how your consulting and branding company had such an organic growth to what it is today that I'd love to share with my listeners if you could give us like a quick story on that.
Yeah, sure. So it came from my passion for wanting to be an artist and understanding the secrets behind being an artist. And so I launched this music blog, which got over 300 interviews in a couple years. It kind of took off, and then I started doing artist consulting. And then I recently met Evan, who lives in LA, and we decided to partner on the branding side because he built this entire process to help artists and realized that every artist needs a brand these days. And so
Yeah.
it's important to help them tell their story. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love that, like how it went from just a small blog that you did because you were curious about something and now it's grown to something that's really substantial and is doing such good. I love stories like that. Oh, yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, yeah. So tell me a bit more about superheroes. So I know the message is, finding who you are even when other people don't really embrace that side of you. What inspired you to write that?
So I was actually in line getting my license renewed to vote
Oh,
2020, I think it was, in Tennessee. And me and my friend Alexander Stopp, we were just like in line for like over an
mm,
hour. And like no one was talking
wow.
to each other. Everyone had masks on and we were just bored. So we just started writing lyrics like in line. So
Oh,
it was like so random. Like it wasn't like we thought of that intentionally. It just came out. And so then we actually decided to go like work more on it after I got my license, after both of us did. And so we worked more on the song, and I still don't exactly know how it came to fruition, but I'm really happy it did because I just love the message so much.
I think that's really funny because like if you ever hear like those songs you really love, I can't think of like specific ones right now, and then the artist gets on and says, "Oh yeah, it just kind of came to me. It was just like a weird thing in the randomest moment," and I love that. It's hysterical. But the
Yeah.
lyrics are really good. I was watching your lyric video and I was like, the line where what is it? What is it? My colors are too bold for this tiny page. It's hard to breathe inside your picture frame. I was like, that is just so well said, and I loved it. I was like, yeah, I think it's my favorite line from the whole song. That's a great one.
Yeah, I think Alexander came up with that. I don't remember because it was so long ago, but
Mm,
he's really great at lyrics and I love lyrics too. But thank you. Yeah, I love that statement of just people feel like they need to be confined in this box. And as an artist and as a creative and as an entrepreneur, as someone
yeah,
that's like more like a rebel archetype or someone that doesn't follow all the rules, like it's hard to just be in someone's picture frame. It just,
yeah.
we don't fit there.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Does this have any? Well, I know you have a branding company, so it just feels like it totally fits into your brand as well. Like you own a branding company, you should know who you are, and this song is all about finding who you are as a person, separate from other people.
Yes, and also like spirituality and
Yeah,
mindset is like such a big part of my brand, just to help people step into their power. And I've been through a lot in my life, and a lot of people, that just haven't been on my level of appreciation, I should say. Like they just didn't value me. And I think this song really resonates with me in that way, that it is okay to walk away from someone or a situation or someone that like anything that just doesn't serve you, that
mm,
isn't valuing you, that isn't seeing your amazingness and your gifts because, sometimes people just don't they just don't appreciate or value you and you don't have to stay in that situation. And
yeah,
so I think that's like part of my mission of the song is just to empower people to walk away from people that just do not serve them. And I think that does tie back to my brand as like an empowerment coach and someone that helps artists step into their power. And just reminding people like you don't have to stay in a situation or stay with a person that's not respecting you, that's not valuing you. There's always another option. There's
yeah.
always something better.
I completely agree. I completely agree. I've been known to walk away from my own few friend groups because of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like you at some point you also even if they were the perfect fit for you then, if you're growing beyond that, there's no point staying there because they're not going to benefit you going forward in your growth. I mean, if they're standing still and you're trying to raise above, at that point now they're hindering you from becoming who you could become. Like my mom always told us growing up, if you're not growing, you're dying because all living things must grow.
Your
So
mom is very wise.
yeah, she is. She's very wise. I got a lot of
It's
quotes from her.
it's that's no, it's so true. And like just thinking about who you surround yourself with every day is so important,
Oh yeah,
right?
like
Because if you're around people that are constantly doubting or constantly really negative or saying, oh, it's impossible to make money or oh, this is really hard, and you're around people that have these scarcity mindsets, it's
yeah,
gonna affect your subconscious. So, like,
yeah,
the people you do surround yourself with, it's so important for them to see your potential and like not be people that are like jealous of you, not be people that like want to stop you from growing. Like, that's so important.
yeah. Like that you're the average of the five people you hang around. Have you heard that one? So like look
Exactly.
around at the five people. Do you really want to be like these people? Like who are you becoming? Surround
Yes.
yourself with greater than or better than equals and stuff like that. My grandpa, I have so many quotes from my family. My grandpa always told us, he said, you only really need three friends in your life. One, someone who's dumber than you, someone who's as smart as you, and someone who is smarter than you. The dumb one you teach, the one who's as smart as you relate to, and the one who's smarter than you learn from. That way you're able to both learn, relate, and teach. And it's like if you keep this process up, you'll keep growing and growing.
I wouldn't say like dumber. I feel like that's kind of like a mean way to say it. I
Yeah.
I would say just like people have different journeys and some people are more aware than others and sometimes it's not people's faults because they just never learned, right? So it
It's true.
doesn't necessarily make them like a stupid person. It just makes them not aware. So I'd almost like replace the word unaware than like dumb. I don't know. I just feel like dumb kind of like sounds mean and I feel like it's more like some people just don't know. Like you know what you learn from like your family and what knowledge you like take on. But some people just like don't know certain things, And so it's not really like their fault
Mm.
necessarily. Like if you grow up with someone that constantly is talking about how hard it is to make money, I guarantee that person most likely is gonna have a really hard time making money until they like become aware that that's not the only way, right? That that's
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
only way to think. So it's like it's important to like definitely have people in your life that you can lift up and like
Yeah, I think that's
bring
like the point.
awareness
Like
to.
lift up. Like that's a better word for it. I like that one. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, totally. Totally. Um, oh, I just lost my train of thought. Like I had a question lined up and it's like totally left my
Oh
brain.
my God, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. Holy crap. Okay. So how long? You said you wrote it 4 years ago. So, and you only you released it the 10th of January, right? So like, what
Yes.
was that process? Like, oh, I just remember the original question I was supposed to ask. Oh, would you? How about you answer this one first, and then I'll ask you the next one.
Fine.
um. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
you want me to answer this one first? Sorry, I was like
Yeah, yeah.
waiting for
Sorry.
the second
Oh.
question. Sorry, what was your question about this
Oh.
release?
Yeah. So this you said you wrote it in 2020, and you released it just like earlier in the month. So like, what was the process of like? Did you just leave it to the side and not decide to work on it till now, or is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, so actually this is a really great story. So what happened is I was part of this like sync licensing like 2 day or 3 day webinar,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought a ticket very last minute, and then I won a grand prize. And the grand
Oh.
prize was getting to record in Santa Monica. And
Oh.
this was so synchronistic. I happened to have planned a trip to LA in March for my birthday. And then I won that trip like the week I was going to LA.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally got to record a song in Santa Monica at Earth Earth Star Studio Creation. I think I might be saying that name wrong. With John X. Um, and I can't think of it's like Asmanda Music. Anyway, they gave a free session away from the sync thing, and so I needed a song to record. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, well, this song like we did a track for, like a rough track for, but we never like did it seriously. So I needed to come up with a song. And so that is why I recorded that song back in March. And then I was like, okay, now I have a new song to actually like re-record, or sorry, to release. But the process was like I went to LA, I recorded it, we created a track, then we brought in piano too with that track. Then I went back to Nashville because I was living in Nashville at the time,
Mm-hmm.
recorded background vocals with a different producer named Jason Thrum, then had it remixed after Jason Thrum with Dallas Jack. So it had like at least three different engineers,
Yeah.
um, all helping with that song. But it came out, I'm really proud of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you should be.
I'm definitely proud of it. Yeah.
Yeah. The production is very good on that song. So the question I was going to ask earlier, you were talking on like branding and the importance of branding. So to any artists listening, like what advice do you have for finding their brand and like why it like touch more on why it's so important?
Yeah, so I'd say the first thing they should do is ask themselves, why are they doing music?
That's a
And
good
why does
one.
anyone
Yeah.
care? And that is like so important. And I learned that from Evan. And I came up with my answer because I'm going through the program with him, as an artist, because I wanted to actually go through what everyone else is going through.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about empowering people. It was about making music that is going to empower people, that is going to take people through an emotional journey and just like help people process emotions,
Yeah.
help people relate to real life things, or empower people. And so once you have that why, it's so much more powerful. It feels really empowering to like understand your why because you can come back to that center point as an
Mm-hmm.
artist when you're feeling like you want to give up, when you're feeling discouraged, when you're looking at like all the people on social media and you're like, "Oh my God, that person has like a million like followers. Like why should I even try?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to go back to comparing yourself to other people, but at the end of the day, when you understand your why, it's really satisfying to just
Yeah.
like to own in that point. Oh, I make music to empower people. Or, oh, I'm making music because I want to, help my family, with whatever, like whatever reason you have. So I'd say the first step is really figuring out why are you even doing music?
Mm-hmm.
And why
That's
does
a good
anyone
step.
else care? How is it affecting other people? Because when you realize like this is bigger than myself, then it becomes selfish to hide. It becomes selfish to not put your music out there. right? As
Mm-hmm.
opposed to like feeling like, oh, like I'm scared to tell people I exist. But if your music's empowering people or your music's helping someone else through a hard time, it gives you a bigger purpose for why you're doing music. It becomes less about, oh, I need this amount of likes and oh, I want this amount of impact,
Mm-hmm.
right? Impact over likes.
Yeah, that's a good quote. Impact over likes. I like that a lot. I agree. Like I started releasing music in 2022 and I just didn't tell anybody until 2024 because in my head I was like, A, it's not good enough, or B, no one's really gonna care, or C, I'm just doing it because I want to do music and I don't care if anyone listens. But then as I started discovering more about my brand, becoming more confident in my music, and realizing, no, I want to make an impact. I want to shed a light. I want to bring positivity and empowerment, like you said, all these good things to the world. You kind of need to start putting that confidence and that effort in that. I started telling people and I got on social media again and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. It makes it makes all the difference when we're realizing that what we do is bigger than ourselves. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you're a coach, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an artist, at the end of the day, like businesses, like it's all a business and it should be about impacting people in some way
Yeah.
or the other. Whether
Providing
it's making
value.
people like happier, like, if you're a flower shop and you're giving people gifts, I mean, that's making an impact in people's
Yeah.
lives. So people shouldn't belittle that. It's
No.
it's a good thing to share your story and it you never know how it can impact someone else.
Yeah. Don't let anyone make you play Lois Lane.
Exactly.
Yeah. Find your own superhero. Um,
Yes.
yeah, that's a quote from the song in case anyone's confused.
Yeah, I
um,
heard that they're actually like putting out Superman this year. And I was like
oh
laughing.
really?
I was like, how did I know that? Like intuitively, like putting out a song called Superhero, which has Lois Lane, and there's literally Superman is coming out. Like, I don't know how I did that.
Just little fun little things that happen. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny. Um, so other than finding your why, like let's say they have their why, what's their next step? Because I know when people say brand, this is like when I was at Berkeley, they like double down on this. When people say brand, generally everyone's like, okay, the colors, the fonts, the symbols and stuff, but it's more to it than that. So like they have their why. Now what should they do?
Yeah, so we have an entire like 12-week process on this because it's encompassing. It's a lot, but I would say figuring out what type of content you post and like looking at what other people post that are your competitors and like studying how they do things.
Mm,
Like how are they using their content to build attention? Because people don't care if you're just saying, buy my song, stream my song, just look at my video. I'm another artist. There's like 100,000 songs being downloaded every day or streamed or whatever, uploaded, whatever the quote. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you need to stand out. So the key is how do you stand out? So I would say look at your competition, see what they're doing. If your music's very singer-songwriter, go look at other singer-songwriters and see what are they doing to put out content that is different. Is it taking you behind the scenes in studios? Is it taking you behind the scenes of their songwriting process? Is it going live and just like saying, "Hey, this is how I'm creating the song today"? Is it collaborating with other people that are like-minded? Is it having a certain merch item that lines up with their lifestyle? Like, there's just so many things, and that's what me and Evan really are good at helping people with, is like figuring out like what is the passion of the artist besides just music, and how can we tie that to build an
mm,
entire brand, to build an entire foundation so that your fans are really connected to what you do more than just your songs.
yeah, yeah. That's one thing people are that something at Berkeley they would tell you like at the end of the day no one really cares about the music, they care about you, and if they like you they'll listen to the music, and I'm like that makes
Yes. We need to speak at
blows your
Berkeley.
mind. Yeah, we should. It's actually that is on my vision board because like at Berkeley over the summer that's when I fully committed to like doing the artist route. Like that's when I was like, let's do this. And so it's now my vision board to go back to that same summer program and be the guest artist that speaks. Like that's I'm gonna do that one day. Come full circle.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Um yeah. So what okay, so one thing that's really big with me is like dreams. And so for me, like my big dream is to be like a touring artist, and I think we talked a bit about what your dream is, but like, how about you tell everyone else like what your big dream is, like what you're heading towards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to produce films and TV shows. I
Oh,
want to
really?
have a really big impact on the media and create shows that are awesome and be able to put my music in shows and all my clients' music in the shows and to be able to custom compose music for stuff
Mm,
and to be able to make films that make an impact. I just love making an impact, and I feel like media is a really huge way to do that,
yeah.
way bigger than just a song. And so yeah, I've been working on developing one show for like 4 years. I moved
Really?
to LA to like work on finding a production company for it. I still can't talk about it yet. But it's been such a process. And I recently did an ad for my company and I got to be a producer on that and go through over 500 submissions with like Breakdown Express and casting networks and really learn the process of
Yeah.
auditioning and like having people like read for you and like I redid the script like a million times with ChatGPT just to get different versions and like it was such a fun process. Like it was stressful, but it's really cool watching someone read something that you give them and how actors interpret it. Like
Yeah.
it's really cool. So it solidified my desire for like, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. I want to put people together. I want to create content. I want to create movies. I want to do and I also want to create music for film. I definitely want to like write music for film, get hired to like write a song for a movie, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. I love that. That's great. Like no matter where you are in your career, like you always have that dream that you're heading towards, and I love how yours is like you're making an impact that way. Right now, you're making an impact with your branding company, and you're making a bigger impact with that. I love that. I love that so much.
And also, I think public speaking and like
Mm-hmm.
having some kind of like award-winning podcast and like write more books. I just want to be like a really big public figure to like inspire other people to follow their dreams,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. Like I have my manifestation course right now. I'd love to get that to more people because it's like it's really powerful work. You know, when artists
Mm-hmm.
like wake up and they're like they realize their self-talk. They realize the power of their words. They
Yeah.
realize they're creating their life and they're creating their own self-fulfilling prophecy. For example, if a lot of artists have scarcity mindset and it's like very programmed where they're like, oh, it's hard to make money and no one's gonna pay me. And like even for me, like I'm still like building that journey for myself as an artist because it's like, oh, I guess I should take myself seriously even though I'm a like CEO and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like having an impact on people. I just want to have a really big impact on people. I want to be able to make so much money that I can just give to like everything I believe in and every organization I believe in. Impacting female entrepreneurs, impacting like artists.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and Evan spoke at the school. I'll never forget it this year as speakers. And this student emailed us saying that our speech changed the way they think of their
Oh,
music career and they don't want to quit anymore and that they have a completely new inspired way of thinking.
that is
And
so nice.
that was like that moment, like I cried. I was like, "Oh my God,
Oh
like
my gosh.
you don't realize the impact you make until like you get a message like that and you're like, this is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, not for the ego, not for the like, oh, I look cool on social media. I mean, yeah, our egos like looking cool on social media. But when you get a message like that, that you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, our words just like change someone's life and like they don't want to quit their music career now, like that is
That's amazing.
powerful.
That's the dream right there. Like that's yeah, I want to do the same thing. Like I once performed somewhere and I sang my song Overdose, and it's about, struggling and watching someone you love fight with addiction, and you're like, please don't
Mm,
don't do this, don't overdose. I need you. Please stop. And I
yeah.
performed it, and apparently I made like three people cry in the audience, and I had two other people come up to me and they were like, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. I had to deal with that. We ended up having a long talk about like addiction and loved ones, and it was just like to know that my song touched people in that audience was like it was
I
amazing.
mean, I mean, with that, you could do like a whole tour on just that, on
Yeah,
partnering with like an addiction recovery company that sponsors your tour and like going to schools and like having merch that's about that. You could have a documentary that's about that. I mean, there's so much things you can tie into music besides just music. And I think that's
exactly.
amazing that you did that. And Of course people will cry. That's a really powerful thing, that's like
Yeah.
that is a real thing. Like people die from overdosing, like so I think that's extremely impactful.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're getting near to the end of our time here. So I got one last question for you. Like, what advice do you have for people right now pursuing their dream?
Focus on your intention. That is so important. Like it can be so easy to get caught up in everything happening in the world right now. But like the attention economy is the thing. Like you need
Mm-hmm.
to focus on whatever your goals are and put your time and energy and focus and action into whatever it is that you want to pursue in music. If it's sync licensing, then it's probably doing sync courses. It's probably hiring someone like me and Evan on sync consulting. It's probably going to sync conferences and meeting with supervisors. If it's touring, then probably getting a band together and learning live performances and getting live performance coaching, which we do. You know, so it's figuring out what is your goal, what's your plan, where do you want to go, and then taking action steps to get there and mapping out a plan.
Mm-hmm. Goals. I'm really big on that too. My dad is like instilled that in us since we were little kids. Like goals, goals, goals. But yeah.
Your
Um,
parents sound amazing.
they are. They really are. I lied. I have one more question for you. My bad.
It's okay.
How how can
We're
people get
allowed.
in? We're allowed. It's okay. There's no
Yeah.
rules here.
Rule
Um,
breaker here.
the show is called Off Key and On Pitch, so yeah, we're gonna do things a little. Um, anyways, moving on. So how can people get in touch with you? How can people like find your music, follow you, stuff like that?
Yeah, the easiest way is to email me, Danny at danifelt.com. Dani at DANIFELT, like felt happy or felt the material.com. Then go
That's awesome.
dannyfelt.com. Then go musicindustrymastery.com. They can stream Superhero on Spotify, Danny Felt.
Check out the lyric video. It's better. Well, not better, but it's really cool.
Oh yeah, check out the lyric video
Check
on
out the
YouTube.
lyric video.
Subscribe. And Instagram, Danny Felt Inspires. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun talking, and yeah, I hope you have a great day, great week. I really hope that it was a TV show, not a movie. It was a show you said, right? Well, I
TV
hope
show.
that, yeah, I hope that is successful, and you need to send it to me whenever it goes out or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
it
right.
will.
I'm sure it will, and I can't wait.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Of course. All right. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
What an awesome conversation. I really do think that branding is such an important part of an artist's career. It's like their entire foundation. It sets the stage for where they end up going in the future. But also, I think your own personal brand is also very important for everyone. And I think me and Danny even touched on that a bit. So, for any of you listening, whether you're in music or not, ask yourself that question of why? Why do you do what you do? Why do you love what you love? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? What kind of impression and impact do you want to make? What dreams do you have? What do you want to accomplish in life? What do you want your legacy to be? These kinds of questions of why and legacy, that's a big thing for me, your legacy. But once you know your why and you know where you want to go and you know what you want to do, it's so much easier to sit down, write goals for the day, for the month, for the years, the next 5 years. And if you stick to those goals, you stay true to your why, the likelihood of ending up where you want to go increases dramatically. And I know this from experience. And honestly, I could probably do an entire podcast solely on goal setting. But really, sit down, find your why, and keep dreaming big. I'll see you next time.